Hi everybody, welcome and thank you so much for watching. It is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. I will be releasing a new episode every Wednesday, so I hope you tune in and please like and subscribe. I want this to reach as many people as possible, and one of the ways we can do that is sharing, liking, subscribing, and we're going to make this a cohesive effort. I took some notes, so I'm going to be referencing them. Okay, I want this information to reach as many people as possible because I've got some really good information and I really just want to share it. And if I can change one person's life or help or inspire them, then it's totally going to be worth it. Okay, over the next few weeks, I will be sharing my story of where I've been, where I am, how I got here, things I learned along the way, and I know some things. So, let's go. I wonder if some of you guys are wondering, why is she here? Why should I listen? How can she help me? And I know some things. I used to be jobless. I used to be homeless. I used to be heavily addicted to drugs and prescription medication. I was a straight junkie. I would steal and lie from my friends and my family. I have been arrested over 20 times. I've got a record. And I was 90 to 100 pounds heavier than I am now. I had zero direction. Everybody had all but given up on me. And then in 2019, I had an experience in jail that was so terrifying and traumatic that it literally changed everything. So I don't know if it was, in the end, it ended up being a good experience, but during it was awful. And since then, I have been consistently employed. I have a home that I love. I have friends and family who support me. I've repaired relationships with people, and most importantly, I have repaired my relationship with myself. And I've been able to transform my body into a physically fit one that feels strong and capable, and I want to give you tips on how to do that. So, it's February 2019. I don't know, somehow February just seems to be a significant month for me. It's February now. This happened in February. In high school, I had a baby that I placed for adoption in February, that he was born in February. So, I don't know, guys, things are happening. Anyway, back then, I only had two functions: high or withdrawing, sick, and in bed. There was no in between. And on this particular day, I was out shopping, which really means stealing because I just was not working and I was shady. And on my way out of the store, I stole windshield wiper fluid, which is ridiculous because I didn't have a car at the time. And actually, it took them 2 weeks to come and arrest me, so I had all but forgotten about it by then. It's early in the morning. I hear on my door. I go out, answer it. There's two cops there, like, hey, we're here to arrest you. You stole this from such and such. And they took me to jail. And at the time, I was using at least 300 Klonopin and Xanax a month. That was partly from prescriptions I was getting. That was from prescriptions other people were getting. I was buying them. And even then, I would run out early. So that just gives you an idea. Sorry, I'm adjusting. That just gives you an idea of where I was at. I go in, and it took me about a week to start withdrawing from it. It started with me having really weird dreams while I was in there, like crazy dreams. And then I don't really remember a lot of it, so I'll just give you the details of what I remember. So I remember thinking all these things were happening. The one that landed me in solitary is I just was so delirious. I was convinced that girls were sneaking drugs in. Just bear with me. This is it's crazy what happens to your brain when you stop cold turkey from alcohol or benzos. I thought that inmates were sneaking drugs inside beaver bladders, and they were gonna share it, and it was gonna kill everybody. And I, at the time, you know, in my head, fought everybody off and saved the day. This is all true. And so it's late at night, everybody's sleeping, and I go up to the door and I push the emergency button. You only push that if there's an emergency. And they're like, yes. And I was like, I'm just waiting for my award. I won a major award. And so, of course, the deputies are down there like, okay, we need to check this out. So they call me down, and I just remember going to them and being like, I'm just waiting for my major award that I won. And I hadn't been in jail for a while, so they didn't know that I was withdrawing, and I didn't tell them I was. They just were like, okay, she's crazy. We need to separate her. So they moved me over to solitary, which is 23 hours locked down a day. You don't get out. You can get out and use the phone, shower, that's about it. And I go in there, and the first week, it just progressively gets worse and worse. I start having seizures. I couldn't even walk. I remember army crawling on the disgusting floor so I could make it to the bathroom, or the little toilet, the metal toilet at the end of the concrete block that you sleep on. And that was if I made it. There was a lot of times where I just urinated myself because I couldn't move. And I vomited several times, and I had several seizures. During that time in there, I had all these delusions that would last for who knows how long, honestly. But one of them was I had been in there for 20 years, and I remember like knocking on the door when the deputy walked by and being like, if I've been in here for 20 years, would you guys tell my family? Like, I was so worried that they wouldn't know I was in there. And he was like, yeah, we would tell them. I stopped eating. I stopped drinking because I just couldn't even function. I didn't even know what was going on. My boyfriend at the time came to visit me, and I refused his visit because I was convinced that he had kidnapped his ex-wife and her entire family and was hiding them in his pants. And so, you know, I'm onto you. I'm not gonna let him visit me. Let's see, what else? I also was convinced that my husband, my ex-husband, also got arrested, and so nobody was there to watch my son. And so what did we do? We snuck him in and taught him all the ways to stay hidden, but also martial arts, because just in case somebody came up to him, he would know how to handle that. And there was little bits of like coherency, like where I just kind of was like, oh, I'm in jail. And I could feel my mind slipping away. I could feel it. And the only thing that got me through that time is I would just sing Bob Marley, Three Little Birds, over and over to myself. Like, every little thing is gonna be all right. I just remember that kind of kept me, if you can say, sane, at least from not totally just, you know, going off the edge and not coming back. I also had a couple court dates while all this was going on that I just refused. They were like, hey, time for court, and I was like, no, I can't. I couldn't even function. One of these times, they made me get up and go down to court. So I don't even know how I made it. I remember barely being able to walk. Like, I was just gone. Like, I probably looked insane because I was, actually. And I'm standing in line for court, and I'm just shaking. And a deputy who had recognized me from years before when I used to go in all the time came up and was like, she does not look good. You need to get her to medical right now. So they take me down, and while you're waiting for the nurse or the doctor, they handcuff you to a bench. And sometimes there's other people right next to you. So I'm handcuffed, and I like look over at the kid next to me, and I can't even remember what I asked him, but he answered, and I just like side-eyed him and said, I know what's really going on, and then like turned back. And that poor kid, he was probably in there on like a traffic warrant or something and just terrified, handcuffed because you can't get out next to this crazy girl. So the nurse comes in. I remember them taking my blood pressure. I remember it almost was echoey. I couldn't really like make things out, but I remember hearing the beep, 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 but my blood pressure was just spiked. And they immediately put an IV in me, gave me 2 bags full of fluid, which, I mean, they only do that, especially in jail, like dire situations. I remember feeling the fluid go into my body almost like it was like a, like, kind of, I for sure wasn't totally aware, but I just all of a sudden was like, oh shit, like I'd woken up from a nightmare. And then they kept me in medical for another week or so. You just lie on this boat thing on the floor, and they gave me medicine to help with my withdrawals and my delirium. I remember them checking on me every so often, and then after about 2 weeks, they let me back into general population. And I just slowly was becoming more and more aware. And I had so many inmates and deputies just look at me and be like, you look so much better. We were so worried about you. And then I spent about another week, so maybe like a month and a half, 2 months total, and I was able to bail out. So this is April, May of 2019 when I get out, and that is where my journey begins, really. And it was so terrifying. I didn't know if I'd be able to get out of it. I didn't think I'd ever be the same. I thought I was going to be stuck in that state of mind forever. And it took, I want to say, around 2.5 years before my brain started to fully function, before I was able to interact with people, before I was able to have conversations, before I was able to make eye contact and keep it, and just not feel like my nerves were on fire all the time. I was always on edge, like always. And I started doing a lot of work on myself. I started watching podcasts to learn about the brain, how it works, what helps, how important hydration is, how important meditation is, and that's something I still work on. Like, it's kind of hard, and at first it was almost impossible because my receptors were just firing off constantly because I had been depressing them for so long that my dopamine, serotonin was just shot. So not only was I not at my baseline, I was just 6 feet under almost, and it took time, and I'm so happy that I was able to get it back. Like, my brain waves and pathways and everything have just gone different. They've come back together, and it's just so cool, and I'm just so excited, and I really want to share with everybody that it's possible. You can do it. I started exercising, eventually found running, which has helped my anxiety and focus and everything else like immensely. And also, I just feel good about myself and confident, and I believe in myself, and I'm capable. And yeah, like I said, over the next few weeks, I will tell you how I started my physical fitness journey, things that I learned that worked for me, things that didn't work, because I literally started just, all right, I'm gonna do this now, and I had no information or experience, and so it was really trial and error. And now I feel like I have found a system that works really well for me. It makes me happy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work and consistency. Like, this doesn't just happen overnight, but it is possible. And I appreciate you coming along for the ride. It's entertaining, and it's scary, and it's funny, and it's sad, and all of the things, but it's real. So please tune in next Wednesday. I'll be going over starting to work out, things that I felt, how my body felt, and things that I did to get through it, and just, yeah, all of that information. And again, if you could like and subscribe so we can share this with the world and just like help people one at a time, you know what I mean? Or millions, however many times you want to share, it's up to you. Have a great day.